Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another show where we are going to analyse some potential targets for Everton to sign for next season. Tonight's show is going to focus on Bournemouth's diminutive Scottish winger Ryan Fraser. Alongside me, I've got Ben Crawford, and we are going to dig through all the pros and cons of Fraser's game, look at a few stats, and try and evaluate whether or not Fraser would be a good signing for Everton this summer. So first of all, Ben, how are you doing, mate? How are you spending your lockdown?
Hi, mate. I'm good, thanks. Not too badly. It's difficult, isn't it? Especially now that we've heard today that another 3 weeks being extended to, and then maybe even further past that. So just a load of home workouts, run every day, and with a footy manager in between. It's kind of where I'm not working myself. I've been furloughed by work. So it's just a case of keeping busy and trying to pass the time as productively as possible while there's no work, no football, and a lot less to do around the place. What about yourself?
I can vouch for I'm doing more or less identical to what you're doing. A lot of working out at home. Got two little dumbbells and a kettlebell, and I'm just trying to improvise with that. And then a lot of footy manager, like you say, a lot of FIFA. Also learning Spanish, which is going sort of bueno, if you like. And that was brilliant, that, innit? I mean, a couple more years and I might be able to say a few more words. But yeah, no, it's been like just trying to be as productive as you can, really. Like you say, I'm in the same position. I've been furloughed by work, so it's a sort of literally just trying to keep busy, and there's not a lot you can do, but I think we both seem to be doing it as best as you can. I think getting addicted to FIFA or Football Manager is always a good move in these dark times.
I can't take to the new FIFA. I bought a new FIFA when we were in lockdown. I can't take to it, mate. That was the first FIFA I'd bought in about 5 years, and it's not me anymore, mate. Football Manager's good, but FIFA's not me anymore.
No, to be fair, I'd gone off FIFA myself. It was more because obviously I have friends and we can play each other online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason I really bought it. And otherwise, I haven't bought one for 2 years now. I'm more of a footy manager person, and even then, I'm going for the more outdated Football Managers. I'm going for like 2007, 2008 ones, because I think the modern day Football Managers are just a bit too overcomplicated, a bit too intense. I mean, I like to be a casual manager, and one of them I go on holiday every couple of weeks, like Sam Allardyce used to do as Everton manager.
Training camp.
Never mind that. Just let the assistant manager do all the training, and then swan off to your Spanish villa.
Oh wow!
And that's where the learning Spanish is going to come in handy, clearly.
Oh, of course, yeah. In case Atletico Madrid or Barcelona get on the blow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, as they say, que sera.
Showing off now, aren't you?
I know, innit? Those skills. But on that note, we are looking at Ryan Fraser today. We're going to be sort of analysing what he could bring to Everton as a potential new signing for next season. Ben, what's your opinion on Ryan Fraser when you watch him play for Bournemouth? What do you think he brings to Bournemouth? What he could also bring to Everton? And do you like him as a player? Do you rate him?
I think he's a very interesting player because very similar to a lot of Everton's wingers down the years. He's very hot and cold for me. He seems to have a brilliant season last season and really sort of put his name about a little bit there for other teams to look at him. But this season's been a bit of a different story. He's not quite had the same output in terms of his stats. He's lost his place. He's been in and out, actually, because Eddie Howe's been preferring to play 2 strikers or even 3 strikers in one game rather than play him, and that could be due to his contract situation, which I think is the only real reason we're having this conversation. I think if it was a case of, he was on a long-term contract at his current club, Bournemouth, and we had to pay a big fee for him, then I don't think there'd be even a question about whether we go in from the probably better alternatives in other parts of the market, South America and the farther reaches of Europe. But it does present an opportunity, his contract situation, to the player and the club, because, with all the best will in the world, Bournemouth is not the most ambitious and, striving successful club out there. So, you can't really hold anything against him in wanting to make that move away from the South Coast. But at the same time, whether or not he's ready for that step up is another question, because, like I say, his inconsistencies that he's had in his game just at Bournemouth, I think he's got some quality. I'm not quite sure whether it's best positioned on the right-hand side or the left, but we seem to have a plethora of left-sided midfielders at the club. So I don't know whether we need another one of them. Certainly in the mould of Fraser, who isn't a superstar, going to come in. He's probably going to be on the sort of sidelines to start off, and he's got to work his way into the team. But if he can offer us an option on the right-hand side of the midfield, that might make it more appealing to me, because we are struggling on that part of the pitch. And, as a free transfer, yeah, I'd be happy to see him come in, because I do like him. I think he's got something about his game that means he'd be a decent free sign. But if you were sat here telling me you were going to spend 25, 30 million pounds on him, then I would be telling you to stay clear of him. So it's worth the risk if you can get him on a free. But it all depends, because there'll be a lot of other clubs out there, probably in a better position than Everton, who will be happy to take him on a free transfer, like of Liverpool and Arsenal, who've been mentioned. Take him on a free transfer, probably not give him too much in the way of game time, and then sell him in the January transfer window for 100% profit to someone like an Everton or a Leicester, who might need that boost at a later part in the season. So that's kind of where I am with him. I think he's a good player, and he'd be good if we got him on a free transfer, but at the end, I wouldn't lose any sleep if he went elsewhere. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it, really, because, like you say, we do need the right winger, but I wouldn't want to pay top dollar for Ryan Fraser, and I certainly wouldn't want to be in a position where the likes of a Liverpool or an Arsenal get him on a free and then try and sell it to us to about 15 million or something. Like, even then, I wouldn't pay 10, 15 million for him. Like you say, I think there's so many better alternatives out there abroad, particularly. I think buying from the Premier League, I don't think there's ever any value in the market.
There's no value.
I think Fraser, obviously, I think we were having a little route through the statistics when we were sort of like putting Ryan Fraser up against our current sort of crop of wingers. And to be fair, he is superior statistically to pretty much all of our out-and-out wingers. So we looked at particularly Bernard, because given Ryan Fraser's tiny, Bernard's tiny, there's a very similar sort of
similar kinds of players.
Very physicality and sort of technical ability. I think there's like a lot of similarities, and obviously we compared, and I think Ben's our stats man. Ben's got the stats before him right there. So do you want to do the honours?
Go along the stats. Yeah, I mean, if you compare him to the current options we've got on the wing, he does kind of stand out, really. We're not counting Richarlison, because he is, like, for us two at least, he's a centre forward. He's certainly not to be played on the right wing anytime soon. So you compare to Everton's current options, and the two players, like you've alluded to there, for stats-wise, you're looking at Bernard and Theo Walcott. Alex Iwobi, a little bit of a different kettle of fish, because he hasn't played the amount of games to have enough sort of reliable stats for me. He's not played consistently enough for him to return the numbers you'd like him to. But in terms of Bernard and Ryan Fraser, for starters, Bernard is a little bit older than him. If I'm right, I think Bernard 27, 28, Fraser's only 25, 26. So that goes in Ryan Fraser's advantage. That goes. But in terms of goals assists, he's superior in both. He scored twice as many goals over the last 2 seasons as Bernard has, and he's actually well over 3 times the assists that Bernard's got. He got 18 assists to 5 that Bernard's had in the Premier League over the last 2 seasons since Marco Silva brought him in. So on that basis alone, and again, Theo Walcott, whose stats are even worse than Bernard's, apart from the goal output, which is still below Ryan Fraser's. He's really sort of shone in that Bournemouth side. Like I say, I'd be interested to see those stats compared season on season, because like I said earlier, I think he had a much better season last season than he has this. But that, to me, paints a picture of, like we've already alluded to, if he's available on a free transfer, definitely worth taking the chance on. A bit like Bernard, who we got on a free transfer, he was definitely a good free signing. But having looked back, if we'd have spent £30 million on, would we be saying he's a good signing? Maybe not.
I don't think for those statistics, I don't think we would if we'd have paid top dollar for him, like a 25, 30 million fee. And I'm intrigued by this situation, because obviously Fraser's available, very similar mould to Bernard, for free.
Yeah.
Obviously Bernard we've already signed for free. We're talking about the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal doing signing them for free and selling them for profit. Could we do the same with Bernard if we got Fraser in for free? Obviously I've heard rumours that Bernard's been linked with Roma. So if there's any sort of no smoke without fire, if you like, I think there's a good chance that we could maybe bring Fraser in for free and sell Bernard on for a slight profit. I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah, that sounds enough business to me. it depends how much for me you're going to get for Bernard, because I do think I'd be unhappy if we sold Bernard for less than 15 million, because I think he's a decent player. I don't think he's outstanding, but he's certainly not a bad player. We've bought so many much worse players down there. I think Theo Walcott would be a lot harder to shift, because Theo Walcott's not in the right age bracket, and he's a bit of an old-fashioned player for me, Theo Walcott. The days of pacey wingers like him are sort of going. You're more on the cusp of the crest of a wave for inside forwards and inverted wingers, which Bernard and Ryan Fraser are. So shifting, I must prefer if we were able to shift Theo Walcott for a fee and keep Bernard and Fraser as two squad options. I don't know how comfortable I would be with getting rid of Bernard to facilitate a move for Fraser, because, like I said, I don't think there's a lot between the two players. Fraser's stats seem to stand out a bit more, but we as Evertonians both know that Bernard's a lot of his underlying ability, a bit like Andre Gomez at another part of the pitch. The stats don't really tell the full story. His link-up play is good, his hold-up play is good, his relationship with Luca Dean seems to have blossomed, especially last season. Unfortunately, not this because of bad form for both players, really. So I would be loath to just say, let's get Ryan Fraser in and sell Bernard for a quick profit, because, like I say, I think there's players like Theo Walcott, even, to be honest, Alex Iwobi, possibly, who I'd rather see leave the club before Bernard. But I would say, on a free transfer, you can't leave someone like Ryan Fraser on the shelf, but it's whether or not we get the opportunity to do, because I am pretty confident in myself that an Arsenal or Liverpool will sign him, promise him all kinds, whatever, give him a big contract, and then come January, they'll be saying to the likes of your Leicesters and teams like that, and they'll just make 100% profit on him, which we're not in a position that we can do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think we talk about our addictions to Football Manager earlier. It's like my classic Football Manager tactic, that just bringing in players
Keep
on free transfers and sell them. Stick them on the transfer list straight away. It's like how you make a profit, but it's like the cold-hearted, like Tory businessman in me there. I didn't even think I had that dark side.
That's the way. It's the nature of the beast, though, isn't it? Liverpool did that. I've done that in the past. Another one I'd mention probably like the likes of Shaqiri. They haven't sold him yet, but I think they would have been happy to had he not got injured around January. They brought him in for a relatively low fee, around 8 million, was because Stoke got relegated, and then straight away Leicester were coming in 6 months, 12 months later with higher bids, and eventually he probably will go. That reminds me a bit of like this kind of Fraser deal. So I could see teams like that maybe sniffing around him and offering him contracts that'll keep at the club short term in order to make a long term profit. But at the end of the day, it's Everton's job and Marcel Brands' job, if they do identify Ryan Fraser, especially Carlo Ancelotti's influence will be in there as well, to convince him not to go to these clubs and just be used as a cash cow, and to come to Everton and try and build something really and be part of something and be part of getting Everton back on the right track under a world-class manager.
Well, game time wise, I don't think you could argue that if he's got any genuine ambition for his career, he would want to play as many games of football as possible and not just be a bench warmer. And I think Everton are probably the best placed team to give him that step up while also giving him game time. I think.
Yeah, like I think in Everton or Leicester, really.
Yeah, I think I can't. I'm not sure who've Leicester got on their flanks at the moment. They've got
Harvey Barnes and Jose Perez. I could see him fitting in there, competing with Harvey Barnes. To be fair, I think they might be the kind of team that look at him, Leicester, to me, especially Brendan Rodgers. He looks like a Brendan Rodgers kind of player to me.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was thinking maybe Brendan Rodgers is sort of mould, but certainly not one of the original sort of established top six. I can't see any of those sides going in for him to actually...
Or Man City, you might get him just because he's British.
What's to tick the box, yeah.
They've done it before, haven't they? They've done it before with players, so why wouldn't they now?
Yeah, I mean, that's another one. I think it's a double-edged sword, the whole homegrown quota, because you just get people signing English players to not even warm the bench at times to tick a box.
Right.
Fabian Delph, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Delph shouldn't even be warming the bench for us at the moment, the way he's been playing.
Don't get me started. It's best not start me on Fabian Delph, to be fair, mate.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I mean, I was when we signed him, but I've just been bitterly disappointed. And I mean, again, Fraser's similar to Delph in that respect, where he's going to be coming in. If he does come in, it'll be a low-risk transfer. So obviously, we're not all fuming because Delph was only 8 million. Whereas if
it's
it
the
was
wages, though, isn't it?
Is Delph on have we done a sort of Sandro with Fabian Delph, where is he on a big...
He's on about 100 grand a week, yeah.
Oh my God.
See, that's the thing with Ryan Fraser, with him being a free transfer as well. He will demand, I think he'll demand about 120 grand a week, probably. I really do, because the negotiating starts at his table because no one's got to pay a fee for him. So he'll be well within his rights to turn around that's 120 grand a week, especially given the fact that likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson's on 150,000. So
yeah, I mean, again, there's another bit of shocking business from Everton there. Oh,
yeah,
they're just like half the squad are just ready to make your blood boil, aren't they? But I think
we're getting sidetracked now, but it's really grind your gears, doesn't it?
Really does. But bringing Fraser in, I think I really wouldn't be keen on parting with that kind of money on a weekly basis, wages-wise, for a player who's not much of an upgrade on anything we've got. And I think we've both pretty much put it out there that there's so many better alternatives out there on the continent or even further beyond that in South America, like you say.
Yeah.
So, out of interest, Ryan Fraser in or out to conclude?
In on a free transfer.
In. Yeah, I'd say the same. And again, I think
you can't knock him if he's a free transfer.
And at the same time, if there was to be a fee, would you have him?
Not above 15 million. 15 million to beat me cap.
I'd say 10 would be my cap. So it's a very similar situation for both of us.
Yeah.
And if you had a choice between Fraser or an alternative, who would you go with as an alternative?
It depends who the alternative is. Obviously, that's a bit of a dodge in the question, but it depends who it is. I mean, Everton Saras, who plays at Grêmio, don't know what kind of fee they want for him, but that's kind of like-for-like player I can think of off the top of my head that we've been linked with. I'd rather have him than Ryan Fraser. But, you know, who I have done a few pieces for the Toffee Blues, though. I do, obviously, the Transfer Watch sort of quarterly piece, and my top target for the summer is actually a player in this position, which is Dwight McNeil at Burnley. I actually think Dwight McNeil is quality. Dwight McNeil's only 20 years of age as well. Okay, the fee, you could be looking at a bit of a hefty fee. I think you're probably going to look about 30 million for Dwight McNeil because Burnley just simply don't have to sell. But maybe they could broker a deal and maybe get to Michael Keane going the other way in part exchange back to Burnley. But Dwight McNeil would be top of the list for me. But
that's a very, very good shout.
Fraser. Dwight McNeil's got all the end product that we need. He's left-footed and he can play on the right. So a right winger who's left-footed, I think, is exactly what we need, which we haven't had. So Dwight McNeil, for me, would be my top target going into the summer. But I suppose if at the end of the day, you're probably going to have to pay Dwight McNeil £100,000 a week because unfortunately that's the way football's going. He's probably not on far off that. But, the club might look at it and go, Fraser, who's, I think, 26, maybe, on a free transfer, or McNeil, who's 20. If they can save themselves £30-40 million, they'll probably go with Ryan Fraser, I'd have thought. But for me, Dwight McNeil should be the priority going into summer in that position.
So, what would you do? McNeil in for about 40 million or Fraser for free?
I would be very, very clever about it, and I would offer Burnley 20 million plus Michael Keane. And that gets him off the wage bill as well and get Dwight McNeil in for 20 million.
That is very clever.
And Michael Keane the other way.
Again, that's all heavily depends on whether Burnley want him back.
I think they would, to be fair, because I think Tarkowski might go in the summer. And Ben Mee's into his 30s now as well, so I don't think they'd turn the noses up at him, to be honest.
Interesting. I mean, might want to dangle the carrot in front of their faces, though, with that one. That's a very interesing idea.
I wouldn't like to get, hung out to dry by Burnley over McNeil, because every player's got the limit, but if you can try and get him in, at the same time get another player surplus to requirements off the wage bill, then you're doing it the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight McNeil, I'd say, I think he's very similar level-wise at present to Fraser, but I do think he's got a lot more growth.
Though, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a lot more potential for growth. So by the time he gets to 25 or whatever Fraser is, I think we could be looking at a different beast.
And he's left-footed, and left-footed wingers are such a rare commodity.
They are, actually. I mean, we've been linked with a couple over the last couple of years, and we still haven't got one. So
no, exactly.
I think we are rumoured to be looking very much into the prospect of getting a right winger in, and if it's a left-footed right winger, then I think that's probably the best option.
David Neres or McNeil are probably the two names that the club, I'd imagine, might look at, to be fair, being left-footed right wingers. But again, I think both of them are going to command a huge fee.
Yeah, I don't think anything comes cheap anymore in football. Like you say, even Fraser on a free is going to ask for a lot of money, wage-wise. So I think either way, we're going to get stung. I think it's just the nature of being a Premier League football club, as you say.
Yeah,
but yeah, the overall consensus from this show seems to be Fraser in if he's coming in on a free.
Yeah, for free transfer, why not?
There you go. Well, that's that. Fraser in is the decision from our mini jury, if you like. Let us know your opinion on Ryan Fraser either way, and let us know whether you think he'd be a good signing for us. Give us a like and a subscribe as well for more lockdown content to keep yourselves entertained. Yeah, so you don't have to keep playing Footy Manager all the time. Let's be honest, we're better than Tiger King as well, let's be honest.
It is good Tiger King, though, to be fair.
Not as good as us. And thank you to Ben for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me, mate. Cheers.
And until next time, thank you guys for watching on the Toffee Blues.